3, 2, 1, go!
When I first booted into EXO CARS on the MetaQuest, I was pretty impressed. The menus are snappy, the presentation is nice, and the music is pretty cool. I jumped into my first race and was again impressed with the sense of speed, and the more I played, the more fun I was having. The handling of the buggies is exactly as you would imagine, and the tracks feature plenty of jumps and things you can hit like concrete barriers, rocks, burnt out cars, and there's debris as well. And any of these can send you flying off the track, and there's some maps that you can leave the track altogether. I don't think EXO CARS features any AI opponents, but instead you'll be racing against other players and your friends' ghosts. Personally, I think this is an excellent idea, and it gave the game a massive hook that kept me replaying the same tracks well after getting the gold trophies, because I personally love beating people's times and having to learn the tracks to get the best times. There is some negatives which I'll get to in a minute, and I'll also speak on the differences between MetaQuest and PCVR, but overall the single player racing is good and the levels are engaging. As for PSVR 2, it's unfortunately been delayed due to Sony Q&A, but the devs have assured me it's coming before the end of this month, which is a bit of a shame, but I'll update you guys on how it is when I go hands-on via my socials, or if I get time I'll add my impressions to a roundup video. So EXO CARS has 9 tracks in total, but this is multiplied because you'll be racing on the same tracks in different weather, different times of day, and you'll also start from different locations or even in reverse. The game's customization will keep you busy for the first hour, but after you've customized your buggy along with your gloves and helmet, there isn't much incentive to keep you playing to earn in-game cash, and I can't figure out why this game actually has leveling, since everything is simply locked behind a price. So essentially there's nothing else to unlock but cosmetics, and here's a good point to start getting into some negatives. For those of you looking for feedback on the core single player experience, you will see all the content in just over 90 minutes. So if you're not a fan of beating other players' times or playing online, I think you'll run out of reasons to keep playing. Second, there is no changes to the gameplay. There's no upgrades or faster engines to unlock, which feels like a missed opportunity, and overall, even with its nice graphics, it's definitely lacking some pizzazz. For example, when racing on the stadium level and going over the biggest jump, I was expecting some fireworks or something environmental to happen, and nothing does on any of the stages. When racing on the mountain stage during stormy weather, it would have been cool to see lightning strike and knock some boulders onto the track. To make up for this, you do get some helicopters and people on jet skis and things going on in the background environments to keep the game from looking stale. But I feel the devs have missed out on a good opportunity to make the game stand out, because the more you play, the more you kind of get bored. The cars also don't sound that great, and when you're flat out at top speed, I think they just sound pretty boring and underwhelming. Your wheels also don't look to be digging into the ground on mud and dusty tracks. It's little things like this, plus the worrying lack of single player replayability, that hold EXO CARS back from being a truly unmissable VR racing game. Don't get me wrong, it's great for the first couple of hours, but I do wonder what players will do next. But obviously that's where multiplayer comes in. And this one is also a bit of a mixed bag. There's the standard racing mode, and there's also combat, and you can turn collisions on and off. The standard racing is the best right now for pure racing fun, but the combat mode feels a little janky and is potentially a late add-on to the game. Even though the explosions are cool, I found myself preferring the standard racing mode, and again started wondering what to do next, as it all felt a little underwhelming. I understand Quest owners are especially thirsty for a racing game right now, and I think EXO CARS will do a great job of scratching that itch, but for PC and PSVR 2, I'm not sure where this game sits. PC has plenty of racing games, and PSVR 2 have the mighty Gran Turismo in its rally mode, so again, I think players who are desperate for a change of scenery will pick this up and enjoy the game for a short time, but they may swiftly move on, especially in terms of online. So onto the platform specific presentation starting on MetaQuest 3. The graphics are clean, super sharp, and the colours look great on all but 2 of the 9 varying environments. The colours seem muted on these tracks, and there's a bit of fog in the distance. It's not bad at all, but they stood out to me as a lesser quality compared to the other tracks on Quest. Overall though, I was impressed both in terms of presentation, and I really enjoyed the music, which is obviously the same on all platforms. I then jumped into PCVR, and I was glad to see the visuals stepped up slightly, especially the 2 levels that look worse on Quest actually look fine on PC. You'll also see there's more things going on in the background, like helicopters, planes, people on jet skis, and tons more debris on the road, giving you more of a sense of speed. It's also worth noting you can play EXO CARS using a steering wheel on PC and PSVR 2, but right now on PC I wouldn't recommend it, which makes me worry for the PSVR 2 version. There's no force feedback, and you can't navigate menus without using a controller in your hand, which is baffling to me. I went through all the options, and you can't even keybind a recenter button to the steering wheel, which should be a standard feature. So as of right now, using a steering wheel is quite underwhelming when it should have been the best feature. Moving on, you can simply use joysticks to make it feel like a standard racer, or you can use your hands to grip the virtual steering wheel and the virtual handbrake. I did give the devs some advice when playing traditionally with the joysticks about the handbrake button being located incorrectly, because it's on the same side as the joystick you use for steering, which means you can't pull up the handbrake and slide around a corner and turn. But they assured me this is being looked into, but this got me thinking overall maybe there's been a lack of some proper playtesting. Overall, EXO CARS is an okay racing game on Quest and PC. It's got good graphics that vary from level to level, it's got some car customization, good music, and I like the track variety, but it doesn't do enough to pull itself away from being just another indie style racing game when it could have been so much more, especially when Quest owners need an excellent racing game so badly and instead are left with an okay one. I hope this review helps you make a decision. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe for more VR content, and I'll see you all on the next one.